Oh. Oh. Well, hello, Saige. Welcome back to the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me.
I was getting so excited for this episode because you were like my number one reoccurring guest.
I love that.
I know. It's been so long.
It has been a very long time.
First of all, to backtrack, the last time we recorded, I was announcing that I was in a relationship.
Wow.
And so if we think about like full circle here and what we want to talk about today.
Okay, yeah.
I'm like, dang, now I'm single and we're going to kind of talk about red flags and warning signs and kind of like what we've learned.
Yeah. So a lot has happened.
Yeah.
A lot to unpack.
But I did want to ask you up top, we don't have to dive into the topic.
Okay.
Like, is there anything that you... Because I'm like trying to think. I'm like, obviously we're completely different people. I feel like now, like 2 years later, but I also feel like I'm like completely the same person. Like, what's new with you since?
I can't believe it's been 2
era.
years. Yeah.
I know.
It doesn't even feel like we've known each other. Like at times it feels like I just met you, and then other times I feel like I've known you for so long.
I know. I was thinking about that too. And I'm like, what was life like before having you as a friend?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I know. Because every time we talk, it feels like I've known you for so long.
Yeah.
But then I feel like I met you like post-college, and college feels like it was yesterday sometimes.
Yep.
And
Yep.
also 10 years ago. Well, it was like 10 years ago. But yeah, just wild to think.
Because we're all getting old.
Yeah. Trying to think what has changed in 2 years. Not a whole lot for me. I'm still single. I have a new job. Yeah, I would say that's probably the most exciting part. I've like moved apartments, saving for a house now. But
so exciting.
Yeah. Not a whole lot.
Is there like a goal of like a timeline of when you want to try to buy a house?
No. Because I want to buy a house because it seems like the right thing to do financially. But I love living in an apartment. Like I'm never sad that I'm in an apartment.
I stopped looking for a house.
Yeah, it doesn't sound that much fun.
Looking or having a house?
Looking for a house sounds like a blast to me. Having a house.
It gets stressful.
Oh, I'm sure. Like I feel like once I'm ready and I start looking at a house, I'm sure it will be stressful. But yeah, having a house, like my coworkers, there's always something going wrong. Like the hot water heater, the dishwasher. Now I just have to message someone and they come and fix it.
That's why I'm like, I'm just trying to like live in it. But also I just don't care.
Yeah.
I have to live somewhere.
Money comes in and out.
Owning a home by myself feels like absolute torture right now.
Yeah. I mean, there are times where it seems like torture too.
Even though you're saving for a house.
Even though I'm saving for a house, I think of the good things. I want my own like tomato garden, and that's really keeping me like going for it.
Yeah. Or like just like having people over for like a bonfire.
Yes.
I was like, oh my God, I think I would be hosting all the time, which I say that, and I haven't really been hosting much here.
Yeah. I love to host. I love to have girls brunches. I love to have people over, and I'm always like, I am so sorry, but there's nowhere for you to sit. I hope you're okay with the ground.
And we all just like do a little huddle.
Yeah, we just like huddle around like apart in the carpet and like look at cards.
Like, the best part of it, like our girl, I don't know, it's like everyone's trying to gab, and like I've met people like through those brunches.
Yeah.
And like, so for like OG people that I've like listened to the podcast for a while, like I met Darby through you, and then she came on. So
yeah, and I've met a lot of your friends at the brunches. They're so much fun, and I'm imagining even more of that if I have a house.
A house with a basement. You could really throw a house party.
Yeah. And you could have like different themed things. We could have like Halloween pumpkin carving. I don't know what people do. Things like that. We could have game nights, bonfires for sure. So
I don't mind a theme as long as I don't like, I hate like a dress code. Sometimes.
No one has to dress. Leggings or no sweatshirt is fine.
I feel like you're in two buckets. People who identify as a theme person that just like love a theme. And then people like me.
Very anti-theme.
Or are you middle of the road?
I'm middle of the road. If it's like some themes I can really get into. I hate buying things for a theme. Like if I have to buy something for one night, like not huge into that. But
yeah, I think as long as like if I can reuse it, I'm okay.
I'm trying to buy a house. I can't buy a new dress for this. It
adds to the list. Yeah. I do want to get into the topic, but you texted me the other day and like you calculated how much you think you've spent. I don't know if you want to share that. on weddings.
Yeah, I've been on a very like anti-wedding kick lately. It's something I'm working on.
Yeah, something you're working on.
Like
working on not going.
Yeah. Well, last year I think I just got burnt out. I had 6 weddings, 3 bachelorette parties, 3 bridal showers, baby showers.
Yeah, it adds up.
It adds up. Money and Saturdays. I find my Saturdays are like, I hold them like dearly tight to my chest, especially in the summer. I just want to be on the lake.
I was going to say, because we like to go to the lake.
But it's tough because I love the people and I want to celebrate them. But yeah, I've spent like $7,000 to $8,000. And like one time. Yeah.
Same here. No, but I was like, oh my God, I have to do this. So I'm like calculating.
Crazy.
I forgot 2 weddings. I was you're like, what?
I like, yeah. I mean, forgetting weddings you've attended is something, but weddings you were in is.
It was like younger 20s and I just did like the Bible verse like readings.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah. And I'm like, you picked the least religious person out of your friend group to do this.
Yeah, that is an interesting choice. Oh, I was going to say, I've made the joke. I've been talking about weddings and my like annoyance. I've been so curmudgeon about it and I'm getting over it. But I was like talking to another group. I would have a house by now if I didn't have all these weddings to go to. And they're like, oh, you're being so dramatic. I'm like, no, I've spent like $8,000. That's like a down payment. What I've been thinking about is how the way society is, like we've changed. So society has changed so much since like the invention of bridal showers, bachelorette parties, all these things. But
do you think it's because of social media? Like people are trying to like one up each other?
No, I don't know. The idea of a bridal shower makes so much sense when you're like getting married when you're in your early 20s.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I mean. And like now we're in our late 20s, early 30s, and it just doesn't make as much sense. Society has changed, so like we need to change the way we celebrate people.
Yeah.
Like my parents are retiring right now. My dad has been working since he was 16, 14 years old, and he has never stopped working. And he's like supported my grandma and my mom going to grad school and then me going to college. It's like, why aren't I going on a trip? And I'll spend a couple grand on a trip for that. Like that is something to be so proud of. It's like, I just wish we would celebrate all things and with the energy that we celebrate weddings.
I do think it depends maybe on where you live in the world. Like we were in the Midwest, so emphasis on getting married. It's like the one big thing that people are like trying to do in life, it seems, or at least that's my point of view. But I do think it is getting a little bit better. Like I know when I adopted Murphy, people were like shipping me gifts, like like toys, which it's like, it's just so thoughtful, you know, to even like celebrate that because it was such a big deal for me.
Yeah, it's huge.
You know, so I do think it is changing slightly because people are talking about it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I saw something on TikTok I loved where this girl texted her closest friends and said, what is like the one big thing you're excited for like in the next couple years? It could be getting married, but it could be like getting a promotion at your job or like moving into your own house or something like that. Once that friend like starts her big thing, they like make it a huge deal and they celebrate it. And I'm like, that's so beautiful.
Yeah, I love that is. And I think a part of it is because here's the thing, like the people that love me, if I like really was like, hey, for my 35th birthday, just as an example or something, I want to have a party as if I'm like getting married. I think people would do it.
Yeah.
But I think my friends think that I probably still will get married. At least they're hopeful for me. And so I think maybe that's like the disconnect. It's like, no, this is like the one thing that collectively as a society we're going to celebrate because we're all working towards this. But I sometimes think too, like, I don't know how much I want to get married anymore.
Okay, yeah.
I want a life partner, but what that looks like for me, actually, that's a whole nother tangent probably for a different podcast episode.
Yeah.
I can tell you offline if you're interested.
Okay, very interested.
But I don't know how much I need to get married, how much I want to get married. If I meet someone and it's a perfect match, I think I probably would be open to it with a prenup situation. Not that I'm like a fucking millionaire or anything, but I just think that's important. So yeah, so I just like don't know like if that's like in the cards for me, essentially.
Yeah, there's like something interesting too where it's like, because I have joked around, I'm like, when I finally am able to buy a house, I'm gonna make my own registry and we all like, have a shower for me. Because I mean a
housewarming party with the expectation that you bring a gift.
I would never ask my friends to do that, but kind of.
And here's exactly what I want.
Yeah. I mean, I was thinking, because apparently if you, on like a wedding registry, if you get like 20% off for everything that's not purchased. I'm like, I legit will have a registry when I get a house because I'll just have to buy so much stuff.
Oh, that's
and
a good
I'll
idea.
just like buy it from the registry.
Yeah.
To get 20% off.
But honestly, too, it's like, if people know about this, like, there's nothing that I love more than when someone tells me exactly what they want.
Yeah, that's true.
If I'm already buying
100%.
a gift.
Yeah.
Like, if people really value like the sentimental like surprise of something, I can figure it out.
Yeah.
But I think like I'm more like convenient, and if you need something, just tell me, and I'm spending $20-$30 anyway.
Yeah.
Just tell me what you want.
And for when you're moving into a house, you actually do need functional things.
Literally.
Yeah.
Because you're going from a smaller space to
I know.
probably bigger space.
One would hope.
One would assume.
I have a tiny apartment.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But when I say that, I think people would assume that's like, oh, then you're like giving up having a bridal shower, which I don't.
To change behavior, maybe we need to.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah.
If we can do a registry for the time, like when we buy a house, I will give up my baby shower.
Well, we're like
No thanks.
jumping life events.
My bridal shower.
Yeah.
Because whoever I'm marrying, it's going to be combining two households anyways.
Yeah, and if I already had a shower for my house, then I don't need another one.
Right. The guys don't even go to the bridal shower anyways, so, which I find silly.
That they don't come.
Why is it just for girls?
Oh, I do think that is silly because
It's for the marriage.
Yeah, if I would have any type of shower at any time, it would be co-ed.
Yeah, and I think people think that's weird, but...
Oh, really? I'm like, I just want, like, can't we just go to the lake and have a drink?
Literally. Yeah.
It sounds lovely to me.
And it's like if you have guy friends too, it's like you want to invite your guy friend, right?
Yeah. I'm
don't know.
anti-guy friend. No, just kidding. Kind of kidding.
There for a while I was. I don't know.
Yeah. No, I have some guy friends. They're
I
cool.
wasn't allowed to have guy friends for a hot second. So it's nice to like have no rules anymore.
Oh, and you're like, I'm going to have all the guy friends.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
Platonic.
Love that.
Friendship with men. No, truthfully though, I am just like trying not to hate men. Because I think anyone that knows me knows that I've just been a fucking hater for a really long time. And I'm really trying not to. Mm-hmm. And I don't mean that like jokingly at all. Mm-hmm. I'm like genuine
trying to not be a hater to men.
And I think I've like said this on the podcast before, but it's like my hatred for men is the same hatred that some men have for women, but like they kill women, and it's like mine's just like I bitch about it on my podcast. So slightly different, but still the same.
Yeah, I guess that's fair. Yeah, there are some times when I feel very like, ugh, all men stink, and I can definitely get on that hater bandwagon.
Because some do.
No, a lot do.
A lot.
I was
they make it like again like
yes,
there's a reason.
Yeah, I was literally thinking on the ride here. I was driving and I was like, man, I was thinking about like pick me girls and how girls used to say like leggings aren't pants. I don't know. And then I was
we both wear leggings.
We're all wearing leggings. And then how some girls are like, I just never have girlfriends. I'm just like only have guy friends. And guys always say I'm not like other girls. And I'm like, is there a bigger insult than saying I'm not like other girls? It's like, I want to be like all other girls. I do not want to be like a man.
That's the whole goal for me.
Yeah.
But I think I used to be a pick-me in high school, to be honest with you.
Oh, we all were a little pick-me in high school.
Yeah. I think it comes from a deep-rooted trauma or like core wound, though.
Oh.
Maybe why people are pick-me's.
Okay. Explain a little bit more.
I guess I don't know. I only know my experience.
Yeah.
I guess I'm like trying to think of a pick. I don't really surround myself with people like that.
Yes. Thank goodness.
Because I like to be a girl's girl and do other things that girls like. And that includes like not having a bunch of boys around.
Yes.
Most of the time. In fact, it's like if we invite boys, it's like, really, do we have to ruin this?
It's like, where did he come from?
Just kidding. I actually like not to go off topic, but your brunches, like the guys come later, and I still love that because
I
it's
love
like
that. Yeah,
I like most of our friends, guy friend or like guys, whatever.
Yeah, this is what I have to remind myself when I go like in the negative spiral that all guys suck, and I'm like, I actually like adore a lot of men, and like I really like a lot of my friends, boyfriends, or husbands. Yeah. And I feel very lucky in that. So
yeah. So I just wanted to say that. But for me personally, as far as like the pick me goes, I think it's just like a need to be accepted and loved by men in general, and that's where a lot of like my relationship problems come in general. And so of course like it comes like with any guys, so it's like I remember I didn't give a fuck about some of my friends' feelings. It was just about like filling a core need of like having this person like me, even if it's platonic. Like just giving an example, and this is so funny because like I was looking at comments between me and this guy on like Facebook memories the other day, and I was like, oh, this was one of my good friend's boyfriends.
Oh no.
And that is disgusting behavior. And it was so like, and it was very, maybe it was her ex-boyfriend at the time, which makes it even worse.
Okay.
But I just like wanted him to like me and think I was funny, and I didn't have any interest in him, and I didn't care because it was like all about my needs.
You weren't worried about your friend.
But I wasn't worried about her. But like that's like the thought, like when, like there's been a couple of times like where friends of mine like have had their boyfriends or partners like text me for certain things about my friend.
Yeah.
For example, when a friend is about to get engaged, there's like a whole ring situation, and if they're consulting with you about it.
Yeah.
But that still feels weird and icky. I'm like, I shouldn't be texting this person. Like that's not. Do you do that? Do you text your friends' boyfriends? Sorry, why are you looking at me?
No, I'm just like interested because there have been times where they would text me and like ask me questions, or like I would text them. Like I had a friend, I made her a shirt with with a bunch of pictures of her dogs on it, so I messaged her husband and got photos.
Okay,
but I didn't think it was weird that like I shouldn't be texting him.
Okay, well that's like the example though.
Yeah,
of like you're texting for the friend.
Yeah,
like, would you text this like people like the guys? Like, hey, what's up?
No.
Like,
no.
Hey, thought of you.
No. I mean, very limited situations where it's like a very specific meme on Instagram. Maybe we'll send it to each other.
Okay. Because I think I feel like I know you well. You have like a group chat, don't you? Like with one of your friends and your partners.
Yeah.
I think that might be different.
Okay. Yeah, because most of the time it's in a group chat. Yeah.
Yeah. Group chat is way different. One-on-one, hey, I thought of you. Wild behavior.
Yeah.
Sorry if you've done
No, not really.
You're I don't know. I feel like it wouldn't be like a pick me though if you're doing that.
No,
Like I know mine was being pick me behavior in high school.
Oh, like when you were texting your friends. Yeah.
Yeah. And I would like play it off. I'd be like, they messaged me.
And did
first.
they? Did they?
Yeah. Like I would never like I thought I was innocent because I wasn't initiating.
Yeah.
But your actions have consequences. I was responding, playing into it, being funny, being charming. I know what I'm doing.
Yeah. It's interesting because I've had this happen to me where I've had friends like message my exes. And or like even my boyfriend at the time. And
yeah, same here too. And I complained about it.
Yeah. It just made me feel like you don't prioritize me and our friendship over just like the attention you get from men.
And that's exactly it. Because now that I'm thinking about this, I did have a friend that was also a pick me. No wonder we were friends. And she would like hit on my boyfriend in front of me.
Yeah.
And I was like so shy and awkward back in high school. Like I just like allowed it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I'm not talking to him, so someone might as well. But I would get so mad.
Yeah.
But she also had like trauma around men, so it makes sense. Maybe I'm onto something.
Yeah. I also think...
Not that it makes it right, though.
Yeah. I also think a lot of it is, too, just, like, society. Like, a lot of the TV shows we watched, even reading, like, the old, like, Teen Bopper magazines that we had back in the day, like, it was all about, like, making fun of women. Because I remember...
Like, we're the brunt of the joke?
Yeah. Where there was, like, an article... Of course, I'm going to bring up Taylor Swift. She was, like, dating... Was she dating one of the Jonas Brothers? And they were making fun of her for going to too many of his shows and saying that she was like obsessed with him or something. And it just kind of feels like that's always what it was. It was always like men being annoyed with women and then like making a joke out of it. And I think we were taught that's like the cool thing to do.
That makes me want to go down a whole nother tangent of just...
Oh, let's do it.
I know. It's like, here, I ask you to come on for one specific thing. We don't talk about it at all.
Let's just talk about everything that annoys us.
No, but I think there was like one, and I still don't want to get married, but there was like, I think kind of like what started this thought process is how the culture and the vibes that I feel like we've grown up around is that you date a guy and the power dynamic is already off kiltered because the girl's seemingly always more in love with them than the guy is. And I feel like there's always some power dynamic in relationships no matter what, but it just doesn't feel like a partnership. It's like, oh my God, I'm so in love with him. And like the girl just wants to get to the next step and the guy's always reluctant. And this is what we see like in like a lot of TV shows and movies. And it's like, we're like begging them, like giving them a timeline, like, and then they finally propose because like you've been waiting for it. And it just, I don't know, it just kind of seems like it's like, ugh, they want to like lock me down when that like sounds like my worst nightmare. And then it's like, it's known that men benefit so much from marriage. Yeah. And then women who get married are like the least unhappy group of people in the US. So it's like you're just like begging for this one thing that's literally going to like ruin your health. Yeah. And like the guy doesn't want to do it, but they do it. It feels like icky. And I know that's not all scenarios, but that's just kind of like what's portrayed. Yeah. And I've seen it happen too.
No, I definitely think that was portrayed definitely back in the day in like movies and stuff and like all the teenage shows we watched and stuff. I think we're at at least I'm at the age where I enjoy being single so much. Like I enjoy my peace and my own apartment. I do plan, like I do want to get married, but I cannot, like I'm not tight on a timeline, so I don't think I would be begging. Like I wouldn't like accept that. Yeah. And I assume that's how you would be too. It's like we've been in relationships like that maybe, and like we're not gonna do that again.
Yeah. I definitely have been in relationships like where it's like I don't know, where the power dynamic just like feels off, or it's like at some point they were more into me and then it switched, and then I'm like, how did we get here?
It's so confused. It's like you convinced me to like you.
I know, I was like, I hated you actually at first, and now like I'm in love with you, and now you don't like me. Like what is
like make
this?
It make sense.
I know. I'm like, now why am I like begging you to like actually love me properly? Like,
yeah. Yeah. No, I don't think I'm going to get married until he's obsessed with me and I'm obsessed with him.
Yeah, I agree. But I think it should be a slow burn. That can be kind of like a transition into...
Yeah, you don't want to immediately be obsessed with someone.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's transition to like what we want to talk about though, unless you had more to say about that.
No, let's go.
So I did want to say up top a couple of things. When I was thinking about how I wanted to talk about this topic on the podcast, I thought it would just be interesting, very informative for anyone that might be experiencing it, or I just think it's interesting to hear about too. Like I think people like hearing about relationships and dynamics and what you've learned. And when I was thinking about this, I'm like, first of all, I love our friendship because I think it's hard to find someone that's kind of been through something very similar that like as being single in your 30s, number one. And then two, I mean, you thought you wanted to marry like one of your partners, right? And then you broke up, right? Yeah. I was pretty sure you thought you would marry that person. Yeah. I think it's just such a different dynamic. Like when you go into a relationship, you're so head over heels, you think you're going to marry them. And then you break up and you come out the other side and you're perfectly fine.
Yeah, it's wild. It's a wild pipeline.
And almost thriving and happy that it happened.
Yeah.
In a way.
Yeah. No, 100. I'm so happy it happened.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And so I don't know, because I think a lot of times when people in the Midwest start dating someone very seriously and they start to fall in love, the natural progression of what we were just talking about is you just end up marrying them. Even if it's maybe not like the best fit. Or I don't like, maybe there's doubts. I have no fucking clue, but it just feels like that's like the more natural progression. So I feel like the not as common situation is having that and then breaking up. Oh, especially in your 30s.
Yeah.
Or late 20s.
Late 20s. Yeah.
So I was very excited to talk to you about this.
Yeah, I'm glad we can chat about it. I'm kind of glad we both went through it because, I mean, you would never say that when you're in the thick of it, but when you're on the other side, it really, you learn a lot about yourself and the people surrounding you and what you want and what you don't want.
Yeah.
And how to take care of yourself. I think it's really a beautiful thing.
And then the other thing that I did want to say is you and I have had multiple relationships or like situationships or whatever dating people. And so, like, if we are talking about someone, it doesn't have to exactly be, like, our last partners that we had.
True, yeah.
It's just examples of what we've experienced throughout our whole life.
Yeah.
So I did want to say that up top, too.
We're not trashing one specific person. Yeah. It's all of them.
Literally. But kind of like, and what made me think of this is I knew I would survive this breakup, even though it was crazy, like, just admitting what had happened to myself, admitting it to other people, going through the grief, going through like getting over them, a wild ride. But I knew that I could do it because I've already done it before in my younger 20s.
Yeah.
Different relationships, one not as serious as the other naturally because I was really young 20s.
Yeah.
And like this time I was 30, but yeah, I don't know. It's like I did it once, I can do it again.
Yeah. I mean, because I've gone through breakups before too, and they're all like devastating in their own right for different reasons. But yeah, I can relate to that, and I do almost find comfort in that when I'm dating again, because I think to myself like, this man can't hurt me as much as I've been hurt before, so like, let's go. Maybe that's not the right way to think of it.
I was going to say, I was like, it keeps getting worse. So.
Yay.
No, I like to think, and I did want to talk, like, so up top, I wanted to talk about, like, red flags initially, and we can get into that. But I think I'm more prepared, so that way I won't have such a devastating heartbreak and such a devastating relationship because I'll see the red flags.
Yeah.
And I don't know, someone might fool me and like show me different red flags that might seem orange instead of glaring red, and it still could be devastating. Who knows? But
I know.
It's all learning.
Yeah, I like to think that if I enter like a serious relationship again, I will be able to see the red flags more clearly now, and I hope that I won't settle for some of the things I did settle for, and I really hope that's true. I can say it is all true all day, but then once you get those like love eyes,
I know.
It's like you have to have like remember the things you've already learned and the lessons you've already learned.
And I think one thing that I'm really leaning into in general is just go slow. And so I think as long as you go slow and your nervous system can stay even keel, so not too high, not too low.
Yeah.
You can kind of tell when you don't like something.
Yeah.
So like I'm working on that even now, just outside of relationships, dating, anything of that nature. It's like I can even tell like when a show makes me go one way or the other.
Oh.
Like watching TV, reading a book. I'm like, oof, I'm triggered.
Yeah, that's awesome insight to have.
It took a lot of work.
Yeah, of course. It's
like
never easy.
Like sometimes it's devastating. It's like, is this going to be the rest of my life? And I mean, I hope it is, because it's like your intuition almost. Like, you know what feels good. So,
yeah, good baseline.
Yeah. But I wanted to ask you, is there one glaring red flag that you feel like you missed, or is there just like a bunch of little ones?
Oh, that's such a good question. I would say like the very like red flag was he wasn't excited to introduce me to other people in his life. Like, we had an established group that we hung out with, and like we would hang out all the time with that group, so I often didn't think about it and like going outside of it. But I would hope when I'm in my next relationship that the person I'm with is so excited to share me, and like almost like you're in love with someone, so you want them to know every aspect of your life. And I didn't understand why.
Can I ask you a couple follow-up questions?
Sure.
Did you ever question him? Why are you not introducing me to your parents?
Oh, all the time.
Or your family?
Yeah.
Or extended friends?
Well, it was like confusing because like I was introduced. Why it wasn't more like frequent, or like he would go out to eat with them and would never think to invite me, or like there was this specific,
like you weren't integrated.
Yeah, I wasn't integrated. And then I would ask him all the time, and he's like, it's just so weird to have other parts of my life like being introduced? And he's like, I don't know. Like, I'm just like, I just like think it's like strange and like makes me feel weird.
Follow-up question to that.
Yes.
Would you then have empathy and be understanding, or did you explain that you don't actually like that? Because I'm assuming you didn't like that.
No, I didn't. I think at the beginning I had empathy too. And also it was like my first like serious relationship in a while. And so I was like trying to understand like how people date as an adult, kind of. Because when you're in college, it's like, who the heck cares? When you're in high school, it's like, yeah, my mom's picking me up, so you're going to know who she is. Yeah. So I'm like, how do adults date?
Yeah. At their house.
Yeah. So I think it was more of that, like trying to figure out like what is normal and what's not. Like, is this valid? Is it not valid? But as it progressed and like we were getting more serious and he was saying more serious things to me, I would tell him, I'm like, well, I want to do this.
And was he receptive?
Yeah, he would be like, okay, yeah, next time we'll do this or that. And then a lot of times it wouldn't happen, or like we'd have something planned and it would fall through.
Yeah. I think that's really good, because I know we want to get into lessons learned, but I don't want it to be like so stagnant, like where it's like I can't have a conversation with you.
Yeah.
But I think that's one thing that I really learned is when I know that I don't like something, instead of having so much empathy for them and their situation and why they don't want it, be like, no, like actually, I don't like this. This isn't okay with me.
Yeah.
And then holding your ground, and then they can either say, I don't like this either, and that's when you part ways, or they make some compromises.
Yeah, and I think something I was blind to as well is, well, first of all, when I'm like close with someone, I assume they always have the best intentions. That's how I am with my friends. Like, I always give them the benefit of the doubt, and that's how I was in all of my relationships. I have a ton of empathy for people. Maybe not everyone, but most of the people I'm close with, I like love them to pieces. And like, but
well, it's just like when you've been, not to interrupt you, but like when you've been through stuff in life, like you're like, oh, this makes sense why you're doing this, or this makes sense why you feel this way or think this way or doing this.
Yeah.
And then you excuse it.
Yeah. Yes. But I also think it's important that they have empathy for you. It's like, because if you're telling them like, hey, this bothers me, like I want to do this, like they should have empathy and see your point of view and see what you've been through in your past and say, well, I can make this compromise for you, or we can make a compromise together.
And this like goes under the category of lessons learned. But one thing that I've really been overthinking, of course, is compromise versus sacrifice. Because I think a lot of what I've seen with my friends and family and then myself is we group things under compromise because we're told relationships are just a whole fucking, like the whole thing is one big compromise.
Yeah.
To make it work. But what I noticed is I was grouping it into compromise, but there were actually things that I was quote unquote compromising on that were actual sacrifices.
Yeah. Do you have an example?
Yeah, let me think of which one.
Which one should we talk about?
Okay, so just like one example is, okay, so I dated someone that had a different religion. And it wasn't like we kind of like are both like one's Christian, one's Catholic, where you kind of believe in the same thing, but just same but different. It was like very different religion than me. Yeah. And as everyone knows, I'm not religious.
Yeah. So it's a big difference.
So a very big difference. The religion was definitely like weaponized against me, I think, quite a bit.
I hate that.
And me trying to have empathy and have understanding and not ask someone to push their boundary of their religion, I made a ton of sacrifices for it. So just one as an example, I also wasn't introduced to the family, was introduced, but just as a friend. So that in itself. Yeah. But because of that, social media, and I know people probably can roll their eyes at it and think it's stupid, not being able to post me at all, as if I don't even exist, was a really big like sacrifice in my opinion, like of like I essentially don't exist in your world to anyone outside of who's hanging out with us, which is just our friends.
I mean, that would feel horrible, especially being introduced as a friend. And it's like, you're telling me all these things, you're saying well, I don't know what was said. But I'm picturing like someone saying like, oh, I could like see myself marrying you. Like, where should we live? How many kids should we have?
Yeah.
And then it's like
all those conversations were had.
Yeah. And then it's like, hey, mom and dad, here's my friend Abby. I've met her like a year ago. You know what I mean? It's like,
yeah. And like,
so belittling.
Just like weaponizing it too of like, so like, of course they met me as a friend, and I was like, but I see other girls on your social media that are friends. So like, why can't that happen? So like that a lot of times was an argument. I was like, just post like a group picture of me. Yeah. And then like they did. And then that was a fight and an argument of now my family is asking me like why you're on the social media, because they had just met me as a friend. And so I'm like, but like, that's not my fault. You know what I mean? It's difficult, and I don't ever want to be hidden anymore.
No.
Like that's,
no.
Like that felt very icky in my body. It felt very icky like every time. Like I wanted to post a picture of the two of us.
Yeah. And it's confusing because it's like when we're together, it seems like you're obsessed with us being together and you're so excited about it. And like you want to hang out all the time. And then it's like, but then there's this other world where it's like you're not important, and it's confusing, and it's easy to ignore the icky part because you want to focus on what's good.
And I would always talk about like compromise in general as it relates to like family stuff. Like when someone's arguing a point where they fully believe it, even though like when you take a step out of the situation, you're like, that didn't even make any sense, but because you kept arguing it, I just agreed with you. That person would be like, no, but I'm compromising. You aren't doing, like, you're doing exactly what you want to do. Like, what are you, like
what's the compromise?
And it was just like, well, do you think that I don't want to tell my family?
Like, he would say that?
Yeah.
And I'm like, so I'd be like, tell them.
But that's not my fault. And then it would be that would be weaponized. Like, well, I can call them up right now, but they'll hate you.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so it's like really difficult.
That is.
And that's like mental warfare. So like that's a whole different situation.
Yeah, that is next level. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was what I was dealing with.
Oh my goodness. I remember we had dinner one night and you were telling me all this when you were still in a relationship with him. And I just remember it so well. And I just wanted to be like, no.
Yeah. It's so funny. There's a couple of times where I remember having conversations, and it's not that you were like outwardly saying it, but I could tell you were like, a little bit like questioning like the reality of the situation.
Yeah.
But I wasn't ready to admit the reality.
Yeah.
So I remember exactly that scenario at dinner. Another time was with my sister, where she said a thing that I had already thought, but I was mad at her. Like, she didn't know I thought it.
Yeah. Okay.
And I got really upset with her. And then, like, I obviously, like, apologized later. Because I was like, hey, I just wasn't ready to admit it.
Yeah.
And then my therapist, too, said something. And after the breakup, I was like, do you remember that one time when I got really mad at you? And she's like,
yes.
And I just like remember being like so angry about it.
Yeah. I mean, it stinks being on the other side because like, I think all my friends are the best people in the entire world, and they're all like lovely and smart and kind and wonderful, and they deserve like the best thing that exists. And so it's so tough when you see them with someone who doesn't see that or like is not acting like that.
I know. And I like thought like, I think a lot about this. Like, let's say someone like were to ask me like, what do you recommend? Like, if you're noticing patterns of like emotional abuse or whatever the situation is, or just someone like being like not a great partner, like what would I recommend them? And it's so difficult because just those three situations where someone like may have like questioned what I was considering reality, I didn't like it. And if you keep bringing it up, people are going to pull away. And I think I probably would have if someone pushed too hard.
Yeah.
So it's difficult because you also don't want them in that situation.
A roommate I had worked for a nonprofit called One Love, and she would do a lot of presentation to high school students about healthy and unhealthy love. Sometimes she would have me watch what she would give the students and stuff. And they were always taught, if you have like a loved one in a situation that you think maybe is unhealthy, to just ask them a lot of questions and just say like, how do you, like, when he's not introducing you to his family, like, how does that make you feel? And then maybe ask like hypothetical questions. It's like, when you're married, like, how do you want your husband to act towards like XYZ? And just hope you can plant some seeds, because you're so right. It's like, if I don't know, I'm acting like I know from experience, but like I was taught is like they do pull away. And so all you can do is ask questions, and hopefully they like come to their own conclusion.
Yeah. I think since like I've been in therapy, I've been like over therapizing people, and I'm like really trying hard not to do that, because I'm not a therapist, and like that's unhealthy, and no one's gonna want to talk to me after all of it. But I do that all the time. I think like on top of like asking a bunch of questions of like just acknowledging like what feelings they might be having. So like in this example of like me saying like, oh, like he won't post me on social media, instead of being like, what a douche, or what is he hiding, you know, instead of like attacking his character, just be like, oh my God, like that would make me really sad.
Yeah.
If I wasn't being like posted on their social media, like how does that make you feel?
Yeah.
I think that's probably a good one.
Yeah.
My therapist does that. So that's therapizing them still, but not like telling them, you know?
Yeah. Cause there's also like nothing good comes from like your friend telling you that the man you love is a dirtbag. Like,
because they love them.
Yeah.
And then they're going to be like, well, guess we're not friends anymore.
Yeah. And it's different when you're going through a breakup or post it, but when you're in it and you're like heads over heels, it doesn't.
Oh yeah. Post breakup. Say all the things.
Tell me write a dissertation of
Tell
all
me
the
how
things.
you thought he was horrible the whole time.
Yeah, exactly.
I would say, just kind of going back to the initial red flags, my number one thing that I've now learned is that rushing love is not love. Love should be calm, cool, and collected. So if anyone is trying to rush coming together with you in harmony, and if it feels chaotic and then like your nervous system is all crazy, it's crazy in a good way. I take that back. I think anytime your nervous system isn't calm, it's actually not good.
Okay.
But if it's excitement, when in relationship, I think that's also not a good place to stay at. Because, like, if we think about it, if someone's into you, they're going to respect your boundaries. They're going to be patient with you. There's no really need to, like, have to rush anything. And I think that's part of, I'm just going to say it, like, I think it's love bombing.
Yeah.
Not always, but in my situation, I would describe it as love bombing. And here's the thing. I know we're talking a lot about red flags and lessons learned from the other person. Like, I know, like, what I did in the relationship that wasn't healthy as well. I'm not perfect. And there were a lot of things I definitely, like, needed to work on. But I think, like, part of my daddy issues is, like, I've just, like, been waiting to be loved like that.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like, I thought it was, like, finally,
sense.
like, my time. It's like when someone shows up, like, your knight in shining armor.
Yeah.
As what you've always wanted, why wouldn't you believe it? Like, I felt like I was being saved almost. Like, oh my gosh. Like, it's my time.
Like, it's finally my time, yeah.
So, yeah. So, I don't know. And I think, like, TV shows also kind of show us that, and movies, and a slow burn.
Yeah.
As much as, like, we feel like that's so boring, that sounds like the ultimate romance to me right now.
You're like, I just can't wait. Yeah, for a slow burn. Yeah, that's good. I think it has to be so easy to move quickly. Mine was like a very unique situation because we were friends for so long, so it didn't feel like it was quick. It felt like we already had all that baseline knowledge of each other. We already hang out a couple times a week.
Definitely different.
I was thinking about that today. Also, while I was like getting ready to leave, where you've said quite a bit where it's like, what do you say when I'm always like, the first date was like, you say something that's
if it's not a fuck yes, it's a fuck no.
Yes. Okay.
I think I'm changing my mind on this.
Okay, because I was thinking about it. And I'm like, I think as a person, I'm kind of a slow burn of like, I meet people and I'm like, I don't know if I like you or not.
Yes.
And that seems normal.
Yes.
Okay.
As someone who previously, I'm going to say, I probably still feel this way. I don't know. I just haven't like met like a ton of new people recently.
Okay.
Since like being like in the depths of therapy. But I like need people to like me. At least I used to. Like I'm like, you know, so I try to be charming or nice or funny or whatever, you know, like and as a Gemini, sometimes I feel like we can tailor like it's still us, but like we're pulling from this personality side of us.
Well, it just makes sense. We're so multifaceted.
Yeah, 100%. It's like not a knock. Like, it's the real thing. Like you're getting the real me. It's just like this little piece of me that's like over here versus this one that's over here for this person. But no, going back to like you, like definitely, like not that you were like mean to me at first or anything. Like you were very welcoming me like into your friend group. But yeah, like you weren't like instantly my friend, like my BFF, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it just takes time.
Yeah. Which is how it should be.
Yeah.
You don't meet someone and then automatically love them because you don't know them.
You don't know them, yeah.
Your nervous system hasn't had a chance to learn if they're a safe person.
Yeah.
It doesn't, like your body doesn't know like if what they're saying is even true because like someone could be totally blowing smoke up your ass.
100%. Yeah, that's probably what they usually do.
They could be lying.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's so hard with like modern dating. Maybe this is like a whole other thing, but it's like I go on a date and then my schedule doesn't allow me to go on another date for another week. And I'm like still 2 dates in. I'm like, I probably like it's going to take me multiple dates to know. Maybe not if it's my person, but then it's like I also don't want to rush into it. So it's like finding a fine line of and
that's the thing. Like if someone's like so like it's so weird because like in one of my situations they had so many friends and such a broad life and like sports and this and that, like a whole like, and that was so attractive.
Yeah.
But somehow they found any ounce of time that they had outside of that was given to me, and it was like so often to the point where I'd be like, well, I'm like really busy until this, and it was like, oh, but I want to come over for like 5 minutes to see you, and it's like, nope.
Like, yeah, we don't need to do that.
Yeah. And another thing that I do want to kind of like that goes along with that is if someone very similar to like you saying, I don't know if I like you yet, when someone says that they are crazy about you way too prematurely, like that was one of my bigger red flags, and I kept questioning it, and I'd be like, but I go, oh, but like, and I literally like says, I'm like, but you like don't even know me, like why do you like me so much? Like 3 like hangouts in.
Yeah.
And not that I'm diagnosing anyone, but part of a narcissistic personality is learning all of your traumas. And
like learning your trauma or the person you're with?
They will learn the person that they're into, their traumas. So like they learned my traumas, and we all know I love talking about it.
Yeah. Just have to listen to podcasts.
Right. Yeah, that was another thing that was not in my favor. But yeah, so it's like if someone's like asking you so many questions about what makes you tick, they're going to have the perfect curated, and I'm just like assuming it's curated, it might not have been, answer to why they like you, and then where you feel so seen.
Oh.
And then I'm like, oh.
And we all want to feel seen.
Yeah, because I remember I'm like, I've never felt so seen in my entire life.
Yeah.
I'm like, because I would do like, I don't know. I know I yap a lot and I tell people a lot of things and I overshare, but I have this way of making people think that they know me without actually knowing like the real version of me.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like I can overshare online all day I want.
Yeah.
And tell you crazy things that some people wouldn't share with you, but like the real part of
me. But
me,
you know what parts are you and what parts
isn't being shared, the real vulnerable side. So it's like when someone like actually sees you and I'm like, ooh, and maybe he did. You know, I think it's okay to like kind of straddle both lines of both possibilities.
Yeah.
But I think it's a big red flag when someone's like 2 days in, they're like crazy in love with you. Like love at first sight is not real.
It's not a thing. And if it is, I don't want it.
No. Because that's apparently what that was.
Yeah, you know, it's like it's all surface level. It's like you don't know. Like it's like you don't know what I'm like in January when I'm really sad and it's gray outside. It's like, how do you know you love me?
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. And it's so crazy that it's like I felt so seen like day 3. And then months and months and months, a year into the relationship, I would like sit there and I'd be like, does he even know who I am?
Wow. Yeah. So, yeah.
And because one of the things, like, you know, you saying you love your friends so much, I'm like, my friends would never accuse me of what is being accused.
Yeah.
Or never make this assumption about me.
Yeah.
And it makes you crazy. You're like, but like, am I like this bad person that they're saying I am?
No.
And then I'm like, but my best friends who have known me for years and years and years.
Yeah.
Have never thought this about me.
And they would
and
never.
If they have, they've
yeah.
never told me, but.
Yeah. No, I think that's so valid because it's like the people you love the most. It's like they know all your worst secrets, all the like worst things you've done. Mm-hmm. And it's like they know that's not you. And so, yeah, that has to be so isolating and just like, oh, I just hate that you went through that. It's
yeah. I mean, but it's so lessons learned. Like I can say that now, but I think there's a beauty to it, and I don't think that like that person specifically or anyone that I've ever loved or dated is all bad or all good.
Yeah.
And I know that they all turned out to be who they are from the things that they've experienced in life. So just like I have experienced trauma and it gets expressed differently. And unfortunately, like the way that mine gets expressed is more of like an anxious attachment where I want to love someone into loving me, which isn't actually love, but you know, that's what we think is love.
Yeah.
Whereas because of not just like the last person I dated, but multiple people, because of their traumas, they're more of the avoidant and they don't want to be loved. So it's like this, you know, back and forth dynamic of like, no, love me. Like, no, I don't want you to love me, but I do want you to love me. And it creates toxicity. It's really bad.
Man, we would all be better off if men went to therapy. Sorry, I'm going, like, that's a whole other thing. But
it's so attractive.
Oh, if a guy goes to therapy, yes, it is. Mm-hmm. It's so attractive.
And I know, like, we talked about this, like, like when you used to be on the podcast, I would talk about that all the time. Like, and I myself hadn't actually been to therapy. But now that I've gone through it, it's just, there's something so beneficial to, like, just having, like, that, which however often you go, like, I go once a week still. Mm-hmm. But just like having like that be my time for me to become a better version of me. Yeah. It's just so nice.
Yeah. And you're investing in yourself. And honestly, I feel like you're investing in your friends and your future partners and if you have kids, it's like, cause you're just
your parents.
It's like every relationship. And I think therapy is great. And just like the older I get, the more I hear about like men who have some like deep things they need to work out, and instead of working out they like love women and hurt them. Yeah. And like I laugh about it, but it's like, can we just not do that?
I think until you're ready to face your own demons, like you will continue to hurt people. Yeah. I don't know. I think about this quite a bit, and sometimes, I mean, not anymore. I used to think about it a lot. Was relationship, like, was it all fake? Like that love that was shared, was it curated to meet a need of his? And at the end of the day, I think like where I'm landing is I think that the love was real. I think he really loved me. And I just think that my demons and his demons didn't mesh, and he caused, I mean, just, I'm going to just speak from my point of view. Yeah. He caused me like a lot of harm. And I think like, I don't think he's ever going to listen to this, but I think if he knew that, I think it would tear him up, because I think he did love me. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's kind of like a double-edged sword. Like, I don't think he's ready to face his demons. Yeah. But I also think he didn't want to do that deep down.
Do you think it's because he doesn't want to? Is he afraid to? Like, do you think he's just always going to avoid it? Like, I mean, also like in general, it's like, why?
Like, why wouldn't you want to?
Yeah. Also, like, maybe a question for you. It's like, why did it take you? Because, like, we have been friends ever since we've been friends. Like, you would joke around, like, yeah, I probably should go to therapy and stuff.
Yeah, I think that's a good... I'll focus on myself, because right after breaking up, I would have loved to, like, call him and, like, beg him to, like, get help. Mm-hmm. That would have been something that would have, like, my inner child would have loved to do. But my highest self was like, no, you can't
Can't
you know,
control
like
that.
someone has to want to do that for themselves. The reason it took me so long, I think I was scared, because I can talk about it all day long on a podcast to friends, to strangers, to the fucking wall, to the trees outside. I can talk about my trauma, but like actually like really healing it seemed very scary, because the whole depth of it, I knew there was a lot, and there's some really hard days that I have. Not gonna lie, it's tough sometimes. But yeah, I think at the end of the day, I was just really scared to face it.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes I'm sure it could feel like facing like a mountain, and you're like, how do I even start?
I describe it to Madison as this feeling feels endless. And it's like the hardest feeling you could actually like allow yourself to feel. And I guess like just if people are who aren't in therapy and that sounds like daunting to them, I do just want to also say that what she says to me is, even though it may feel like it might be, she's like, it could just be like, you feel it and then you've processed it. Like, so it doesn't have to actually be endless, even though it might feel that way. Like your nervous system is just trying to protect itself. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I don't want to like talk like that, and then for people who aren't in therapy, they're like, oh,
like, why would I do this?
Why would I ever do something that feels endless? Because it's like the best thing that I've ever done for myself.
No, my parents put me in therapy when I was in high school. Like,
I was just about to ask. I was like, I think I knew this, but I can't remember when you started.
Yeah, one year we like met our health deductible. My mom's like, we're using up every cent. You're going to therapy all the time.
That's so good, though.
Yeah. I mean, and you're in high school, you have big feelings about everything. And we had things going on in our family, and I was horrible at identifying what I was feeling. I think that helped me a lot in like identifying my feelings. Yeah, so in high school, I would do it with my brother. Sometimes I would do it alone. And then I kind of stopped in college. I brought it back when I graduated college, and I was like, what do I want to do with my life?
Yeah. Do you go weekly or?
I only go monthly now.
Okay.
It's more of like a maintenance.
Yeah, totally.
But if I need to go more, I can schedule appointments whenever I need to. I just think it's great. And you have someone who's always on your side, but like will also like make you be accountable, like ask you questions in a way that makes you be accountable.
Totally. And give you like tools to like, you know, it's not just like feeling the feelings like there, it's like tools outside of there that help you.
Yeah. Or I'm going into a situation maybe I feel anxious about. I'm like, how should I handle this? Or it's like, what should I say? Like, and I'll ask for her thoughts and we'll talk it through, and we'll try to figure out why I feel this way.
Yeah. I think just like the safeness. I don't know. Is it safeness even a word?
We can make it a word.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
safe space.
I haven't talked about this with anyone outside of here. I think that's just so beautiful, because it's like, why would you want to keep it in? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like,
it has to get out.
I have like the best friends. Like, there's some things that I've said to like Steph, and I'm like, I'm literally going to hell because I'm saying this. And she's like, well, I'm meeting you there. So like literally zero judgments ever from her. But there's just some things that you just don't say out loud, or you know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah. No, 100%.
So, one other thing that I like, not one, I have like a whole list of things that I wrote down for this, like lessons learned and red flags. But I think like that was like the main red flag, like up top, right, like before like officially dating. But like one thing that I noticed kind of throughout that I think is like a lesson learned / red flag to just kind of like, I don't know, be aware of, like if this is like if someone's experiencing this, is obviously like when you're dating, you're trying to find someone that for the most part matches like your big ideologies and like what you believe in and your morals. I know like there's some wiggle room there as long as like they're a good person. There's just some things in life that I feel very strongly about that I don't think I can compromise in a relationship.
Okay.
And so one thing that I started noticing like in one of my relationships was these larger ideologies he completely aligned with me on.
Okay.
And then started backtracking them. So just as an example, one thing that I really love very early on asking someone is like, how would you, like, especially to a man, is how would you feel if we have a son and they turn out to be gay? We've talked about this before.
Okay, yeah.
Not turned out, because I think you're born that way.
Yeah,
I feel like that was wrong language. But like you have a son and your son is gay.
Yeah.
And comes to you with that. At first, it was like very much like aligned with me of like, you know, very positive, still love them, et cetera, embrace it, you know. And then as time went on, it was like little by little, the story and the feelings around that started changing to the point where I was like, this is like a glaring red flag that I don't think I can even ignore anymore. Because I think one thing, it's like, oh, can I be with this person? Sure. Could I make this person the father of my kids?
Yes.
That was something that I was like, changing my mind on. I'm like, I actually can't see that anymore when I would have loved for that in the beginning. And it's just, I have more information now. But this was like one of those things where it turned into like fights of him like accusing me of being like, well, it almost feels like you want our son to be gay.
What?
And I'm like, you lost me somewhere.
It's like, this isn't the conversation we're having.
They're born however they're born.
Yeah.
And there's no want or need. Either way, they are who they are.
Yeah.
And I was like, where in this conversation did you get that?
Yeah.
Because it's not about that at all.
It's like, I'm not setting any expectations on our children.
Yeah.
And I just ask that you don't either.
Right. And honestly, like going back to that question, though, like part of it like shows me like how they feel about like the LGBTQ community.
Yeah.
So kind of a peek into that. But then also part of it too is how will you accept your child for who they are in general?
Yeah. It's a much bigger. Yeah. It's
you
like,
know?
Yeah. Cause it's like, there are some parents that like just want to have a boy who's super into basketball and like plays for college. And then they have a girl who's into musicals. It's like, how are you going to react to that? It's like, it's
like, I'm really into football and I want my son to watch football with me on Sundays, but my son actually prefers to like go play a musical instrument on Sundays. Like,
and I expect the same energy from if watching a football game to like listening to your kid play horrible tuba.
Exactly. Or to the like their sexuality.
Yes,
like I
100%.
put all of it, like it's just like who encompasses like who they are as a person.
Yeah.
And like, can you love them? And like part of this, I don't know, part of that is like, for me, I sometimes didn't feel super unconditionally loved.
Yeah.
You know, and so like that's like really important to me because I want, and I know like you fuck your kids up no matter what, but it's like that's just like one thing that I just feel like it's like I feel so strongly about.
Yeah. And I think as women too, it's like, I think one of the best gifts we can give our children is a father who loves them unconditionally. Like, we get to choose who their father is, and that is not something to take lightly.
Yeah.
At all.
Right. Like, I almost feel like it's picking your partner is a huge decision because it's going to affect so many things. But I almost feel like if you choose to have kids with that person, like that's an even bigger decision than picking a partner.
A gajillion %.
I can get a divorce.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, your dad is your dad.
Why do you think he said that? Like he probably knew at the time that he wouldn't be okay having a son who's gay. It's like, why is he lying about his morals or his, not even morals, but like his viewpoint on life? Like, why would you want to do that in a relationship? I don't understand.
Well, that's the $1 million question.
Yeah.
I have my theories. Do you want to, I can go into them. I can always cut this out if I don't want to.
Sure.
Keep
Yeah.
it in.
Okay. Let's see what they are.
My theory is if you look at narcissistic traits and behaviors or any type of love bombing or abuser, a lot of times what they say is they mirror you back to you in the beginning during the love bombing.
Yeah.
So sometimes I'm like, was he just like showing me my personality and that's what I fell in love with? Because that makes sense. Yeah. So I think about it. He had all of the resources to find out who I was online.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was told to me that he didn't consume all of the podcast, but I have no clue. It's very, I mean, I don't hide myself from people. I have very strong opinions. I try to be an ally as much as I can. And so I think he chose that personality trait to show me in the beginning. And then once our relationship started progressing and getting very serious, we were having more serious conversations, and it kept coming up.
Did he assume that you would change your mind or that it wouldn't become important to you anymore? Because I just think, like, to me, it's very important that I marry someone with the same, like, thought processes or, like, maybe, I don't know what the right word is, but, like, same values. And I would hope that's also important to the men we're dating.
To me, it almost seems pathological if he tailored his personality to my personality and then actually didn't believe that and then wanted to change mine, because when you pick such a strong, independent person to date, it's hard to understand the logic behind it.
Yeah.
Like, so me personally, I have very strong beliefs.
Yeah.
Around many things. So I really don't, it's very confusing. I think the dynamic with not just that, but with nearly everything was power and control and coercion, to be honest. And so I think part of it was, how can I break this person down to where that they don't even believe what they believe anymore?
Ew.
It's kind of how it felt, to be honest.
Oh,
like, that bad.
Yeah.
And I think when you know the right buttons to push and know what to present, those two, and like when you're loving someone, like, you show them pieces of yourself, so they have all the power to break you.
Yeah.
You know? And so, like, when you give someone that much power and they take it, that's, like, really scary and sad. But I do want to, I said, I think on, like, one of the last podcast episodes, but I do want to talk about, like, emotional abuse. And I know, I think, like, a lot of this was just, like, more like red flags and lessons learned. But it's, I'm not being exaggerating.
No, you're
at
not.
all when I'm saying this. Like, this, it was really bad.
Yeah.
And yeah, but I'm, like, proud of myself. The things that impacted me are the things that I compromised or sacrificed on. So, like, the not posting, the not introducing me to the parents, there were, like, a lot of things. But the things that I, like, really believe from, like, a world perspective, I never changed my mind. So I'm, like, proud of myself for that.
Yeah.
Like, and I think one of the bigger lessons learned is, like, something I did write down is self-love is just so important. And I just didn't, I thought I did, but my actions weren't aligning. Like, self-love was completely lacking, so I ended up loving him more than myself. And so I think that's a big lesson learned.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like you have a lot to be proud of. Like, when I hear stories, I'm like, sometimes I'm just speechless. I'm like, I mean, it's devastating to me, like, that you went through that, but I'm so proud of yourself for, like, getting out of it and, like, seeing.
Like, I'm getting emotional. Sorry.
Yeah. I mean, I just proud that you're able to see what it was now, and you didn't compromise on a lot of things. And I feel like I just, like, can't imagine what it's like to be in that situation. So I'm happy on the other side.
I think since we're already talking about it, it doesn't mean I can't do a whole nother episode on emotional abuse, but I think it's just, like, because people are so flawed in a beautiful way, and we all have core wounds where we really just want to be loved, like, when it comes down to it, which is beautiful and scary all at the same time. It's so easy to find yourself in this situation.
Oh, yes. I mean,
and that's why so many of us have experienced it.
Yeah.
Because you've been, like, kind of shocked when I'm saying some of this stuff. Like, I was telling one of my friends about some of this stuff, and she was like, why did he pick you of all people? Like, you have so many strong beliefs.
Yeah.
And you don't shy away from them. And it's like, I think that's what was attractive.
Okay.
Can I take this person and...
It was like a challenge.
And control her as much as I can. And I don't know if it was done intentionally.
Yeah. Yeah.
But...
And, like, you're so right when it's, like, it truly is, like, our core fundamental, like, feeling loved and being loved and, like, loving in return. It's, like, that's all everyone wants. And so when someone... like, is able to present it in a perfect way where it's like, it sounds like he was able to, like, manipulate situations to, like, for you to fall in love even faster. And it's like, and like you said, like show up for you in the ways that you needed to at first, or you needed him to at first. It's like, it's so calculated, and it takes like some level of intelligence to be able to pull that off. And like, it's like, how do you not how do you not fall for that trap? That's one thing I
was like very attracted to is intelligence.
Yeah, it's like you have to be if you're able to manipulate situations like that. My goodness.
Totally. It's so fucked that like getting out of it, and like I want to ask you kind of like what your definition of love is. But I, at some point afterwards, I kind of stood back and talking with my therapist about it, and really just thinking about my core wounds and his core wounds. And I'm like, I don't even know what love is anymore. And I'm really still dealing with this, because I think like people say like, you know when you know, but when your inner child is running the show in all of your relationships, it doesn't come down to like, you know when you know. It's like, no, like my inner child was dying for him to just fucking treat me okay and love me back.
Yeah. And
any glimpse of happiness that we were experiencing, it was like pure fucking joy to my inner child. You know what I mean? And then like when he would like, which I'm not going to go into like all of the details, but like when he would like rip that away, all I wanted was for it back.
You would do anything to get it back.
I would have done fucking anything to get it back.
Yeah.
And so, and that's part of like why I wasn't ready to admit all of the things that were like really glaring and red, like the true fucking red flags. And so because of that, it's like, okay, like, so like, was it love? I don't know. Like, I still think I did love him for sure. Probably pieces of me still do, but I don't know. I don't know.
You don't know if you loved him or what love is, or if he loved you. Okay.
And so everything that he was doing that I viewed as love really probably comes down to just like a need for control. So it's like, was that even love? I get really fucked up if I think too much about this.
Yeah.
I do. And so I'm like, okay, but like then if we take all of this away, let's say we have two perfectly healed people.
Yeah, which doesn't.
What do we have left? Like, what is love? Is it just that? Like, what exists? The same love that you can have for a girlfriend as you have for your mother, as you have for a man that you just want to sleep with. Like, does it come down to like, it's the same, I just want to have sex with you now? Like, I don't know. Have you thought about this?
Not in this way. I don't know.
I fucked you up now.
Yeah. Like, what is real? I don't know what anything is.
Because, like, think about, like, the people that you've loved, like, romantically.
Okay.
Like, what do you think? Was it your inner child running the show? Or, like, was there something else?
I mean, I feel like I've only really loved one, like maybe two people, like not a ton of people.
I thought so too until I started thinking about this. I was like, I think I either haven't loved anyone or loved way more than two.
Everyone. I don't know. I forget. I used to have a definition for love and I forget what it is. I know there was at one point a partner said to me that his version of love is when you can't picture your life without them and you would be devastated. And then he broke up with me like a month later, which is wild.
But also, that's his inner child.
Yeah.
That's not like,
and
that's not his highest self running the show.
Yeah. And now I'm like, I don't.
Andy broke up with you.
Yeah. And now I'm kind of like, well, then I wouldn't love anyone because I could see my life without. I think actually that's what I told him, because it's like.
Say that. What did you say?
I think I said, well, I just like don't agree with you because like I have some people who I love deeply, but like I could see them not being in my life, where it's like maybe I don't see them every single like day, or it's like, and so.
Yeah. It's like, I love myself so, and this is probably not the same situation, but it's like, I love myself so much that I can't have you in my life despite me loving you.
Yeah.
Which probably isn't the situation you're talking about.
No, it wasn't a thing for me, but I can totally see how it is for other people. Yeah. Also, like, kind of an adjacent topic, something that I think about, like, we're talking about going to therapy and like breakups and stuff. I ran into this a little bit where it's like, I feel like I have like done the work, like almost for a really long time. And I feel like I'm healed in so many ways and like have strong relationships with my friends. But then there's like something where it's like I started dating again, and then like all these things pop up that's frustrating that like you can't work on unless you're in a relationship.
Yeah, that's the scary part.
I'm like, that's terrifying to me because I know there's like some things I haven't worked through, but like I don't even know what they are because they only come up when I'm like faced in a situation where it's like they're triggered.
Yeah, which totally agree with this, but also, which it's why it's so important that you A, have the tools, and B, you're still doing the maintenance. So it's like, just because I mean, Madison came on and talked about like triggers being our teachers, and I fully believe in this. It's like, it's just teaching you something. And just because they're triggering you, I think before I used to think that I had such a good intuition, which I still do think this. But I think I was also mistaking a lot of my triggers and anxiety as intuition. And it's not necessarily, it can be like, I could be like, oh, this person's not a good person. But also it could just be like, this is my own shit and has absolutely nothing to do with that person.
Like, yeah.
And so actually, I was going to say this earlier, but we got off topic. But
okay.
So since I'm like newer to therapy and I haven't been doing it as long as you, I kind of feel like a lot of people that I used to date, I'm like thinking about this. I'm like, oh, like a lot of reasons like why I stopped seeing people, I think probably if they weren't a horrible person, like it could have just been my own shit of like why I stopped seeing them. So like that same example of what I was just like describing. And so now that I'm single again, there's people that pop back up like on like dating apps and stuff. And so pre-therapy, pre my last relationship, I went on a couple of dates with someone and I stopped seeing him. I want to say because I felt like maybe he was a little bit too feminine.
Okay.
Specifically, I didn't like his fingers. Oh, is the exact reason why I stopped seeing him. Not even.
I think that's like a Seinfeld episode.
Not even kidding. And then, so I stopped seeing him then, and so then he popped back up, and we like just started like catching up and chit chatting.
Yeah.
And we went back out on another date, and the reason I stopped seeing him this time is not because of his fingers. Like, so I think my very unhealed self stopped seeing him because I felt like maybe he was too healed for me. Okay, it's probably what the situation was. But then on the other hand, now I feel like I'm more healed than what he is. So it's like I felt like he was like pushing a boundary way too soon. Okay. And like didn't get the hit. And I didn't feel like it deserved a conversation because it wasn't that serious. So like, I'll just find a person that doesn't do this.
Yeah, for sure.
And so I just find it ironic. If you find someone that you really like and they aren't in therapy, like do you ever like talk to them about it and encourage therapy? Or like how do you handle that?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Yeah, because like we would be talking, or I mean, even do this with my friends and stuff. Like I will get in conversations where it's like we're talking about something deep and like I'll say something and they're like, wow, that's like really smart, or like that's such a healthy way to think about stuff. And I'm like, that's why we should all go to therapy.
Yeah. You probably did that to me.
You know, it's like, it's so helpful. And yeah, if I was dating someone who wasn't in therapy and I thought they needed it, like I would never force, well, maybe I would if I was married and be like, we're going to marriage therapy probably, but couples, whatever it's called. But yeah, I've definitely said stuff like that before. Yeah. Where it's just like, I want to destigmatize it too, where it's like, I think anyone can benefit from therapy. Yeah. And if you have something to work through, you definitely can. So I'll say it to anyone. Yeah.
I like went down like an anxious rabbit hole of, am I ever going to find someone that's been in therapy? Like kind of like, the catastrophic thinking. But like, if we break it down, it's like, it doesn't have to be therapy, but like, I only want to be with someone that wants to be a better person every day. Yeah. You know, it doesn't have to be obsessive. No. Of one way or the other, but it's like, I want someone that wants to improve their life and have goals and be a good human, and that's attractive. So I think it just kind of goes hand in hand.
Yeah. And it's attractive to me too. It's like I want someone who is in tune with like their emotions, and like, for example, like my sister always stole my things and like as a kid, and that is something stupid that triggers me. When I can't find something, I get angry. But now I would know not to get angry at my partner. It's like, maybe that's a me thing. It's like, I want someone who is able to recognize their triggers. And so they're not taking them out on me. And like, we can have good conversations about it.
Right. Acknowledge the trigger, do what they have to do to process, and then tell me about it. To create space for vulnerability.
Yes.
And not to, hey, can you not do this, and avoid that, but just like a deeper understanding of their core wound.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And it's like, I don't know. Like, I would love to be in a relationship where we both have an understanding where it's like, I care about you and I only want the best for you. And so if I do something that hurts your feelings or hurts you, like, it was never intentional.
Right.
And let's talk about it and like help me understand why it hurt you.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, let's have these not intelligent, but like insightful or like
vulnerable,
emotional intelligence, like conversations where we can understand each other and support each other better.
Yes. And those are those types of conversations are the things that I would avoid.
Oh, really?
Because, like, going back to how like I can tell people things without actually sharing who I really am.
Yeah.
So like those are the conversations that I should be having to show who I am, but I don't do that.
Oh.
I'm getting better at it though. I'm really trying to practice it.
Yeah.
So it's not just like I don't know, it's a work in progress.
I mean, first step is acknowledging that you avoid them and why.
Yeah.
So we're there. We're getting there.
For sure. Is there, I guess, like one big thing, like after going through dating someone that you loved so much and thought you would be with, and then going through a breakup, like what's one big lesson that you've personally learned?
I feel like I learned a lot through the breakup, more of like how to get support. I feel like I haven't always been super vulnerable with my friends. I haven't like voiced when I like wanted, like, it's embarrassing sometimes to be like, I wish I had more friends and I wish we hung out more and I wish you cared about me more. I never thought that about any of my friends, but I did wish we were closer or like would talk more or hang out more. And when I was going through the breakup, I was so sad. And so I was just like, I would tell my friends that like, I'm devastated. I need something to make me feel better. Like, let's plan, like almost like a lot of my friends live outside of Fort Wayne. So it was like trips we were planning, and come to find out we're all feeling this way. It's like, we all want to have closer connections. And so I feel like I became better friends with you. It's like, there's so
you were like, I wouldn't say over communicating because that's not how it felt, but communicating like what you needed.
Yeah. If people love you, they want to support you. And it's like, they love to feel like they can support you. And so, creating that space and like doing that, I feel like helped me so much. And it's like, even to this day, I'm still reaping the benefits of the friendships that grew deeper in that time.
The safety in cultivating that type of relationships, like, and friendships with people is what makes you feel safer than when you start seeing someone. Because like the thought of then losing another person, because it's totally possible.
And I think it's a nice reminder too. It's like, we crave being loved like as humans, but then it's like a good reminder that if we're vulnerable, we can get so much love from the people already around us. I'll say other tips that helped me get through a breakup. I planned something fun every month, so I always had something to look forward to.
I forgot about that.
That was a fun time in my life. I spent a lot of money, but I like needed to, so it was good. I always had something to look forward to. I journaled a lot. I feel like when you're going through a breakup, it's so easy to like get sad and focus on all the good things. So I intentionally wrote down the negatives.
I know. I would use Snapchat that way, and I would just be like, back again with another story, and like just send it to like my sister. Just like getting it out of your mind. I think that's so good too, to tell all your friends the stuff that happened, because then you would be embarrassed if you went back. 100%.
Yeah.
Literally, I was like thinking about this like from like more of like a philosophical, like your inner child versus like your highest self. And my inner child wanted to go back, but somewhere like your highest self is like a beautiful, lovely thing, but I felt so weak. I just scraped at the one piece of me that was like not wanting to go back because I knew I couldn't.
Yeah.
And so, because I didn't trust myself. And so I was like, I was doing every fucking thing that I could to make it really fucking hard to go back.
Yeah. That's awesome. you did that.
And that part of it was like telling everyone everything.
Yeah.
Despite how I'm like, this is like almost getting embarrassing.
Yeah. It can feel that way, but it's not.
No.
It would be embarrassing if you like
Then
didn't learn from it. Yeah.
Yeah. One thing that I learned after is understanding the emotion of anger within myself and within other people. Mm-hmm. And I think society as a whole, or at least this was my understanding of what anger is that when you experience anger, it's screaming, it's fighting, it's yelling, it's hitting, it's all of those big scary things.
Yeah.
And so because that was how I viewed anger, I internalized it as being bad.
Okay.
So for me, with my anger, I didn't want to be bad. Mm-hmm. So I didn't feel it. And so I pushed my anger down. Mm-hmm. So one thing that I've learned is anger just shows us what we don't like. So if we're pushing down that, then what we don't like is going to continue.
Because we're not facing it.
Correct. In addition to that, when I saw anger in other people, so my partners, screaming at me became normalized. And I then excused it away because I thought he's just angry. Like, it's not his true self.
Yeah.
Which is true. Like, I think it's a feeling. It's not your true self.
Yeah.
But now what I've learned is that despite that being a feeling that's very valid, screaming at another human or pounding your fist on a steering wheel or a counter, the more extreme actually physically punching you, which I'm not saying that happened to me, but that does happen, or like punching a wall or throwing something.
Yeah.
Those are the extremes. Mm-hmm. That's abuse. So anger isn't abuse. If they themselves are angry, even if it's something you did for a valid reason. Let's say I did something that was totally valid to have anger come up. Mm-hmm. It's not okay to scream at me for it.
No, screaming is never okay.
No.
That is so hard because I know some people who grew up in households where screaming was normal.
And that was my situation.
Yeah. And so it's so hard to know that you can make your life where it's not okay.
I don't want to completely go off topic, but I do want to ask you these questions.
Yes.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, so remember when we used to do like this or that?
Oh, I forgot about this. This was so much fun. Oh, I'm upset I didn't make some for you.
I didn't tell you on purpose. I was like, I don't want that.
Because I had some good ones.
Yours were so good. I was like, what is she doing?
It started some drama, I think, on TikTok.
Yeah. Yep. We're not inviting that into this space.
No.
Okay, so it's more of like would you rather. So I think I'm just going to switch it back to would you rather say this or that, because I don't know where I got that from.
Okay.
I'm probably just trying to be different.
I'm not like other podcasters.
Yeah, I'm different. Okay, so would you rather date someone who thinks therapy is only for someone who struggles with, quote, mental health, or someone who used therapy terms to gaslight you during a disagreement?
No, neither.
This is a tough one.
I would say probably the first one.
Okay.
Just because I don't want to be gaslit ever.
Yeah.
And like maybe they're able to see eventually that I go to therapy and I don't struggle with like.
I think we all struggle with mental health.
Yeah, I don't want to say I don't struggle with it, but like what society as a whole stigmatize it.
Okay, would you rather only have sex with the first person you had sex with for the rest of your life, or only have one night stands for the rest of your life?
Oh. I guess the first person I slept with.
Yeah, me too. One night stands sound like a nightmare.
Yeah.
Okay, so sorry. I'm like, it's been a minute since I read these. I'm like terrible at reading out loud. Okay, would you rather you and 3 BFFs move back to your hometown and live there forever?
Okay.
Or you have to, sorry. Being reading, what is life? Or you have to move 5 more times and then you meet your soulmate, but you never live near a BFF. And I think in the first option, you don't find your soulmate.
So I'm single?
So you're single. You move back to your hometown.
Okay.
And 3 of your BFFs move there too.
Okay.
But you don't find what you would consider a soulmate.
Okay.
Or you have to move 5 more times. And then on the 5th time, you find your soulmate, but none of your BFFs live near you.
But I could still visit. Like, because a lot of my BFFs don't live near me, and I still see them.
Mm-hmm. Totally.
Moving 5 times could be kind of fun.
Totally.
Because you could experience new places.
I mean, you've practically done that in the last 5 years.
Yeah. Yeah, I have a problem with moving. My hometown isn't awful in the summertime. In the wintertime, I might lose my mind.
Yeah. All things to think about and consider.
What? In the, like, this is so, I guess.
I wrote this specifically for you.
Because you knew it'd be so complicated.
Yes.
Because I have, like, a love-hate relationship with my hometown.
Yep. But it's also fun sometimes.
But I also love it, though.
And you can ski in the summer.
Yeah.
And you travel quite a bit, and most of your friends don't live near you.
I know. I guess the
Not
soulmate
most, a lot.
one.
Okay. I think I'm picking the 3 BFFs and then living here forever.
In Fort Wayne. But
Well,
my hometown
is here.
Yeah, that's the thing.
It would be your hometown.
I know, which makes it more difficult, I think.
Okay, so next one. I also wrote this one specifically for you. Okay, so would you rather make $42,000 a year guaranteed for the rest of your life, writing specifically?
Okay. Like what kind of writing? Like journalism?
Whatever you want.
Okay.
Whatever.
Can I do anything to supplement my income?
Yes.
Okay.
Like you can become an influencer if you want.
Oh, okay.
There's no rules.
Okay.
Or you can work a soul-crushing corporate job making $175,000 a year, but you can't write.
$42,000.
I knew that's what you picked. I'm picking that one too.
I don't want to be soul crushed.
Yep. Okay. Would you rather have your notes app get leaked or all of your screenshots?
Wow.
Whoops.
Probably my screenshots. They're not that bad.
Yeah.
What about you?
Screenshots 100%.
Yeah.
My notes app better be deleted instantly after I die.
That's how I feel about that and my journal. Because I just
don't journal.
Yeah.
I feel like my notes app is my
your journal. Sometimes you just have to word vomit. And I say things in my journal, whatever, so many times that I don't even believe it. It's like you just need to say, I have this crazy thought. Let me put it on paper instead of say it to a human.
Yeah. But also I think those are the thoughts that, like, we shouldn't judge them.
No.
Because we're all having them.
Yeah. That's why I don't want anyone to read them, though, because maybe they don't know that it's like a one-off thought. You know what I mean?
Did you know that I started writing poems?
I have seen some of them on Instagram.
And some of them I want no one to ever see.
Yeah. No one needs to know what's going on.
That's a ghostwriter.
Yeah. She's not real.
Because I think when you create anything, that it should be shared. I don't think all creations are meant to be shared.
Okay.
But I do think there is a benefit with sharing creations.
Yeah.
Like whatever your art is.
Yeah.
Like art should be consumed.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's how people feel less alone in this world.
Yeah.
Truthfully.
Yeah.
But there are some things that I write that I'm like, that's for me.
And honestly, I don't even want to see it again. It's for me in this moment.
Yeah. That's funny. I like to torture myself, so I don't relate to that.
Oh, well,
probably should work on that.
Yeah. I do this thing in my journal where I only write on one page.
Okay.
Like one side of it. Uh-huh. And then when I'm done with it, I write on the other side. So then I go through and read what I have written to see like if I have prayers in there or if I have goals I'm working towards or just to like see what I'm working through. And then I can see like, oh, like I'm still working on that or like, oh, wow, that was really important to me and I've figured it out. Mm-hmm. But so maybe I do torture myself sometimes.
Just for clarity purposes for my own self.
Yeah.
So, okay, so you finish a journal.
Yes.
You only write on one page.
Yeah.
then you go back and you start from the beginning and write on the opposite sides, and then you can see the reflection, or you're actually reading what's on the page and then reflecting on the other side?
Nope, I just read what's on the page, reflect on it, but then write about whatever I want.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, it's kind of fun.
Yeah. And then you're wasting less paper.
Yeah, or it's like you remember like, oh yeah, I did do that really fun thing with so and so. I should reach out to them or this and that. Yeah.
That's one thing. So many people keep telling me that they've been journaling and the benefits that they have seen from it, and it's just one thing that I haven't incorporated.
You just haven't gotten into it yet?
Outside of
your notes.
Poetic notes.
Journaling, it was so helpful for me during the breakup, but I still think is so helpful no matter what.
Well, thank you so much for coming on.
Wait, I have one question.
Okay, I love this.
When do you think Reputation TV coming out?
I'm so glad you asked this because
I was like, we have to talk about Taylor.
I was thinking about this in the shower and then I forgot to write it down, so of course it doesn't exist in my world.
Yes,
I already thought it would have been out
100%.
So. As far as when, hopefully fucking soon.
We need it.
Do you have any theories?
No. I have given up on theories because they just break my heart.
I just know, like, whatever theory is next is the one I'm, like, believing.
I believe all of them.
So then I'm just, and I already know I'm clowning. I'm like, this is not happening. Yeah. At this point, I'm like, it's never happening.
Do you think she's writing another album? And that's why we haven't gotten it?
My real thought or opinion on why it's maybe taken longer is because I think she's just enjoying a break.
And as she should.
Yeah. I think that, I don't think it has anything to do. I think she's still writing.
Yeah.
Totally.
She probably has so many feelings right now.
Yeah. Like, is she ever not writing? Probably never.
Yeah.
I just don't think she has the capacity to not, like, to stop that artistic side of her. I think it's just like part of her personality and being at this point. But yeah, so no, I think she is writing another album, but I don't think the reason it hasn't been released. I'm sure it's been done. I'm sure it's been done for a long time.
Yeah.
But I did see that she extended is it the copyright or
the trademark or something?
Yeah, something along the lines for the last time. Like, I think that's like every 6 months you get an extension or something like that. Mm-hmm. And I think she did her last extension. So I think she has to. I don't know legal terms, but that's what TikTok is telling me.
TikTok says it has to be in 6 months. No, I have no idea.
Yeah. Which we're already probably like 2 months into the 6 months.
Yeah.
So, like, the next 4 months.
It's like, Taylor, we're all having a bad time in life right now. Just, like, give us.
I know.
Give it to us.
There's been so many times where she could have iconically just dropped it.
I know. I was kind of hoping she would do that, but.
Yeah. It's like, what's a woman's worst nightmare? It's like late marriage. It's like, no, that I'm going to be sleeping when Reputation gets dropped.
Oh, I can't wait.
Yeah. Me too.
It's going to be so good. She says it's the best secret, like, vault tracks.
She says this?
Mm-hmm. They're her favorite.
I know. I am so excited. That just gave me the chills.
I can't wait.
I'm so dramatic.
I know. Full body chills.
I mean, it is. I mean, I always dress up as, Reputation.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite albums.
It's so good.
Even though Tortured Poets has so surpassed everything else for me.
Tortured came out at the perfect time for you.
Well, wanted to hear something funny and dramatic and sad
of
all
course
at the same time.
I do.
It's funny now.
Okay.
When it first came out, I was still very much in love and thought I was marrying this person.
Yes.
And I remember listening to it. The first Swiftie that someone dates, I don't think they know what they're getting into.
Yeah, probably
And there's
not.
like different layers, but it's like in your ears on repeat because like you have to digest the lyrics and you have to read them, and it's like this. It's a holiday.
It's a process. Yeah.
It's a process for sure. And so, as you are understanding the lyrics, you have different emotions pop up. Mm-hmm. So I found myself on release day crying on his couch. And he comes out and he's like, what are you doing? And I was like, could you come here? And so I'm like sitting on top of him, like just needing to be like loved and hugged. And I'm like, this is the saddest album. I go, I hope we never can relate to these songs.
Jokes. Oh my goodness.
And now I listen to them and I'm like, well, that's the fucking joke, like, love of my life. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
I'm like, thank you for letting me relate to this even more.
Yeah, thank you for that service. Oh, wow.
Yeah. So that was lovely.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
And ironic.
That is very ironic. Tortured Poets, it's so good.
Literally. What's your favorite song from that? I feel like it probably are like always changes.
Yeah, it changes. Lately I've been obsessed with How Did It End?
Ooh.
Very good. It reminds me a lot of my small town where like someone breaks up and like everyone's like yapping, but like how did it end? But then you're also like asking yourself like how did it end? Like how did this end?
Yes.
It's
sorry, not to interrupt you, but like if you listen to like the actual, is it like the backtracks or the tune or
I don't know,
whatever it is, the production,
the music in the background,
it kind of like loops like in a chaotic way, because when you think of like how did it end, like after a breakup, like that's really
how
what
you
happens.
feel. Yes,
I'm obsessed.
That's why Tortured Poets is so good, because it's like the tracks are like your mind feels like you're going insane, and it like replicates how you feel when you're going through these feelings or thinking about it.
It's a work of art. I could talk about this like.
Yeah.
We could have a whole podcast on Tortured Poets.
I would love that. What's your favorite song right now?
I think Peter's my favorite song, I think, of hers. Maybe at all time.
Wow.
Now.
Wow.
I think it's becoming. But I do really love How Did It End and the love or loss of my life, however you want to look at it. LOML.
Yeah, that one's really good.
Who's Afraid of Little Old Me. That... I relate that to my childhood. So, yeah. One thing she does really great is make you think of people. And honestly, like the whole Tortured Poets Department album, I related to other men before I related it to my last breakup. So I was devastated just as much in it. And I was in a happy relationship or an allegedly happy.
We can always relate to a Taylor Swift song.
Yeah. That's one thing I never told him. I was like, I'm thinking of other men, but I'm listening to this 75 times a day.
I'm thinking of other men. I'm crying and I need you to hold me.
Yeah. And I'm just like, this is the awkward part.
Yeah.
And that's how, like, you never really know. Like, I feel like this might die soon.
Oh, okay.
But, I just, like, keep going. I think about the things that I never said out loud to him. And so it's like, you really do never know what's going on in someone's head. And that's so scary.
It's terrifying. Yeah.
Safe. It makes me feel safe because like the things I think about, people don't have to know, you know, not in a weird way. Why are you looking at me that way?
Because I'm like trying to think. So it makes you feel safe that you don't tell everyone everything because you can choose what you tell them?
I mean, that sounds more manipulative, but I mean it in like not all thoughts like are true.
No, 100%.
Like kind of from that point of view.
Yeah, yeah.
And so there's safety in, because I think I used to say all of my thoughts to people, and like you can't, once you say it, you can't take it back.
Unsay.
And not even in like a malicious or manipulative or controlling way. I need that to stay inside.
Yeah. I mean, kind of like journaling, where it's like you have this thought and it's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do hear some people say, like, they're like, I sometimes think about, like, performing in my journal, because when I die, like, their kids or family will start reading it and be like, what the fuck?
I don't like to think about it.
Yeah.
It stresses me out.
Sorry if you think about that the next time you journal.
I'm like... I don't, like, I have, like, a warning. I'm like, I don't mean this. I love you. Like, it's okay.
Yeah. You, like, try to be funny.
Yeah. Try to be funny. But, like, did you like that joke?
Winky face.
Winky. Yeah. But going back to thinking about songs, thinking about people, this is, like, one of the things I thought of. I'm like, oh, I'm, like, a little bit healed from the last relationship because another boy hurt my feelings enough that it switched to a song that I thought about the new boy. And I'm like, oh, it feels so good.
Yeah.
Like,
what's even more fucked is when you're thinking about both of them.
Oh, yeah, that's not fun.
I'm like, oh. And it's not, like, coming from an unhealed place, I don't think. Maybe some of it was just like, oh. this part of the song reminds me of you perfectly. This part reminds me of you perfectly. And now I'm thinking about both of you and fuck you both.
Yeah.
And that's chaos.
Yeah, that is chaos. So, a lot of stuff to think through that.
Yeah.
But
working on it.
That's why we love Taylor. She helps us in so many ways.
She does. Love her. Okay. Any other questions?
Nope, that was it. I just needed to talk about her for a little bit.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you brought it up because I meant to. So,
okay. I love that.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Thanks for having me. This was lovely.
It was long overdue.
Yeah,
my most reoccurring guest.
Love that.
All right. And I haven't done any of these yet. I don't know what. I forget. Oh,
Wow.
I meant to do the clapping, but I like this.
Okay.
All right. Love you guys. Bye.
Bye.
Oh.